From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. It looks like Paul Manafort's going to jail. Former Trump presidential campaign chairman Paul Manofort plans to fight prosecutors' claims that he tried to tamper with a witness, an accusation that could get him sent to jail while he's awaiting trial for the charges he's currently facing, conspiracy and money laundering charges, The judge gave Manafort's lawyers until Friday to present a written rebuttal to accusations by prosecutors that he and a longtime associate repeatedly contacted two executives at a public relations firm in hopes of persuading them to provide false testimony about secret lobbying that they did at Manafort's command in 2013, aka witness tampering. "We should talk," allegedly, Manafort texted back in February to a person identified only as D1 in court papers. This outreach is understood to be an effort to suborn perjury. And if you're not familiar with the word suborn, I looked it up, it means bribe. By encouraging others to lie to federal investigators and concealing the firm's U.S. work. They were allowed to work anywhere overseas, but anything done in the U.S., they wanted that hidden. They wanted that lied about. Sending Manafort to jail before the trial could intensify pressure on him to reach a plea deal with prosecutors. The government is filing this. The government filing comes at a key time in Manafort's case, amid a window for any potential last-minute plea negotiations before he's to face trial. So what is Manafort going to do? It's his move. On Tuesday, President Trump threw a party for America. For you, America. He led a crowd of hundreds in a rendition of the national anthem on the South Lawn of the White House. Why was he throwing a party for America? Well, some say it's just because he loves America that much. Others say it's because he was trying to politically cash in on the latest photo op of his racially charged culture war with the NFL. How fun is that, huh? Fun. I mean, that's what a president's supposed to be doing. He's super busy, with North Korea and busy with parties for America. How can you expect him to have time to testify in the Mueller case? He's just too busy. Trump's decision to carry on with a celebration of America is complete with a Marine Corps band dressed in uniforms and miniature American flags. And this happened just after canceling the traditional visit from the winning Super Bowl team, the champions, Philadelphia Eagles. The Super Bowl party got canceled because of an intense backlash from high-profile professional athletes who didn't want to come to Trump's Super Bowl party, all right? Trump feared that all the cool kid athletes wouldn't show up to his party, labeling it as a political snub intended to embarrass the president. The NFL players are, of course, upset because Trump declared protesting during the national anthem pretty much illegal, subjecting them to fines. Players that are demonstrating during these things, the protests, they're saying it's against police brutality in black communities. But Trump is criticizing them for disrespecting the flag. However, no Eagles players were actually participating in the anthem protests. The White House appears eager to keep this beef going, reflecting confidence with Trump that this fight with these players are actually playing super good with his core supporters. So why would he stop when his core supporters love it? The Eagles are the ones who tried to change the commitment at the 11th hour, Sarah Sanders said. The president felt the fans deserved better than that. Sure, Sarah, sure. Today, here in America, we're keeping kids in cages. The cages are actually pretty cold. In fact, they get nicknamed ice boxes. But don't worry, they've all been given space blankets, so it's no big deal. This is America. How does this happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. Border agents and child welfare workers are running out of space to shelter children who have been separated from their parents at the U.S. border as part of the Trump administration's new zero-tolerance policy. Kids and babies are being ripped away from moms and dads. In the past, when a teenager would pass the border alone, Border Patrol had facilities to hold them in, border stations. And they were kept there for a maximum of 72 hours. After 72 hours, the kids got moved to shelters. These shelters are just basically like it is a giant unused Walmart that's been repurposed as a shelter. Well, now that they're taking not just teenagers, but babies and toddlers, they're getting ripped away from their parents and put into these facilities. The facilities have, surprise, surprise, become maxed out. They're holding hundreds of kids younger than 12. There are over 11,000 kids in this whole system right now being locked up, and the border is waiting for a place to send them. The Border Patrol is waiting for a place for them to go. The plan is to potentially open up Air Force bases in Texas to help house the children. The Trump administration recently started requiring HHS to fingerprint people claiming to be the parents of unaccompanied children, a move that previous administrations claimed would delay children from being reunited with their families because it would scare undocumented parents away from coming forward. What's going to happen to the children? Well, it seems like President Trump and Jeff Sessions don't give a shit. In fact, they say send them back to the shithole that they came from. Seats already taken. I mean, that does sound like what Trump would say, right? David Koch is retiring. If you don't know who David Koch is, he's one of the two billionaire brothers at the head of a powerful conservative political network, Koch Industries and Americans for Prosperity. He's been a major juggernaut in the conservative movement for decades. So he's leaving both Koch Industries and Americans for Prosperity. Sadly, it's because he is sick. We here at Brief News Brief practice compassion and wish no ill will on either Koch brother. We hope that David returns to good health. Not just good health, we hope he comes back even better than before. A changed man through a personal evolution that brings him to a place of compassion for people and the planet, right? David Koch's departure will change the makeup of one of the world's most active and well-funded political forces in political history. The man is a legend, supporting and setting the Republican agenda for as long as I can remember, although that does not necessarily mean President Trump's agenda. But the Republican Party that existed before Trump put it through this giant rebranding reality show, aka the red-assed spanking machine. The network still plans to spend between $300 million and $400 million on politics and policy during the 2018 election cycle. But that's up $250 million from the 2016 elections. So much money and power. David and Charles Koch are tied as the country's 8th richest men, according to Forbes magazine. Both are worth about $60 billion. On Monday, 10 women in Saudi Arabia were the very first women in Saudi Arabian history to be granted driver's licenses. These women are just the first, as they already had licenses from other countries. The nationwide ban on women driving is going to be lifted on the 24th, and everybody can get tested and get their own license. While this is exciting major progress for women in Saudi Arabia, it's also a bittersweet victory, because activists who fought for years to have this come through are sitting behind bars. On Sunday, a government prosecutor said that 17 people had been detained in recent weeks on suspicion of undermining security and stability, a case that activists say targeted prominent women's rights campaigners. 8 have been temporarily released from jail, according to prosecutors, while 5 men and 4 women remained under arrest. Many are saying that it appears their detention is related solely to their work as human right defenders and activists on women issues, and they should be released immediately. The new Crown Prince has been pushing to loosen the hold of ultra-conservatives and the hold that they have on society. Ending the ban on women driving has been long sought after, and it's one of the most potent symbols of this modernization aimed at promoting a moderate version of Islam. Critics are saying that authorities and the Crown Prince have attempted to just promote themselves as reformers. And if they really want to put their money where their mouth is, they should stop attacking and arresting people. Set free these people that were fighting to advocate for women's rights. Some of these people that are detained right now could face up to 20 years in prison.